so nice to be here with all of you. As our MC mentioned, we are studying the entire Bhagavad Gita. We started on January 14th. Our Swami Prakashanandaji, who's the head of Chinmay Mission Guyana, he is leading this initiative. And so far I realized today is exactly 1/3 of the way. 108 nights, today will be exactly 1/3. So here we are, 1/3 into this yajna of studying the entire Bhagavad Gita over 100 different mandirs on 108 days. So we have reached chapter 6, which is the chapter on meditation. But before we get into the chapter, let us just think a little bit together. Everyone would have come to the mandir today carrying something or the other. Usually everyone walks with something, right? A bag or harmonium, or if you're coming to do seva, you might have carried a pot of food, you might have carried water to come. When we came, we carried books. So everyone would have carried something to come, even if it is a little tiny bag. You carry a little, or your phone. Now, when you come here, the first thing that you want to do is put it down. Correct or wrong? This bag, this water, or this harmonium, or this food, I want to put it down. It doesn't need to be heavy also, I mean, how heavy is a phone? That phone is not so heavy. Some people carry their phone all the time. But even then, they want to put it down on their hand or something, right? So, when we reach somewhere, whatever it is that we're holding, we want to put down. Now, do you know, this head of ours, it is like 5 kilos. Science is checked and told the head weighs 5 kilos. When you carry a sack of potatoes that is 5 kilos, how long could you carry it? I mean, 1 minute, 2 minutes. You try and get from here to there as fast as possible to put it down. When is the last time you said, this head of mine is so heavy, let me just take it off and put it down? Anybody has ever said that in their life? No. We walk with our head all day, every day. How many kilos? 5 whole kilos on our head. And we have never said, I want to take my head and I want to put it down. Why? What is the difference? The difference is that the things that I am carrying, no matter how heavy or light they are not part of me. So as quickly as I can, I want to drop it. But because my head is part of me, I never have a feeling that I should put my head down. Or even, when you go to satsang, sometimes they give you takeaway bhojan, right? They'll give you parsad and bhojan in a bag, and then you take it and you walk home, and then you go and eat it at home. Well, do you want to carry that bag whole day? I'm going to go upstairs, I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to go inside, I'm going to hold this bag with me the whole time. I mean, unless you think someone is going to come and take your food, you have a sibling who's going to eat it, so you hold it and you don't want to leave it. But as soon as you get a chance, you put it down. Now when you eat that bhojan, do you think I need to put it down? That thought is also not there, because now it is part of me. So this simple principle is, when something is not part of me, I want to put it down. I want to drop it. No matter how light or heavy it is, it feels like a burden. But if something is part of me, it doesn't feel like a burden, and I never have a thought to drop it. So now let me ask you. We have joy and we have sorrow in this world. Everybody has joy? Everybody has sorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone has peace?
Yeah.
Everyone has disturbance of mind? I don't mean all the time. At some point of the day, at some point of the week at least, you will have peace or lack of peace. You will have joy or sorrow, like that. Have you ever said, man, I wish this sorrow would just go away? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever said, man, I wish this joy would just go away? Anybody has ever said that? No. Why? Because sorrow is not my nature, but joy is my nature. Same thing with peace. Every opportunity I want to drop the agitation and I want to drop the lack of peace, but I never feel like I want to drop the peace. Because just like my head, the peace and the joy does not feel like a burden, but because sorrow is not my nature, it is what I want to drop. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us think a little bit more. You know, we live in this world and we have a feeling that, well, you have no choice. There's going to be joy and there's going to be sorrow and you just have to deal with it. You've heard people telling you this? Well, this is how the world is. There's no other option. Some days will be happy, some days will be sad, and you just go and you live your life like that and you hope for a little bit of happiness along with the sorrow that is coming. That is what the world tells us. So you can analyze, and sometimes they'll say, no, actually the joy is the same as the sorrow. It's just that the sorrow feels like it's more. All kinds of things they will tell you. But our experience is, it doesn't matter what the world is. I don't want this sorrow. But we tell ourselves, no, you know what to do. I have no option, so I'll deal with it. Well, then you hear, but your neighbor just across the street, they're living in this same world and they have no sorrow like you have. You say, what? But I thought everybody has sorrow, so I was okay with the sorrow as long as everybody had the sorrow. But now I hear that I'm the only one who has sorrow and my neighbor doesn't have sorrow. Well, now I don't care what the world says. If my neighbor doesn't have sorrow, I also don't want sorrow. True or false? Forget sorrow. Simple thing like blackout, right? If you're sitting at home and suddenly there's a blackout, the lights are gone, what is the first thing that you do? Well, you go outside and you see, is it just my house or if it's everybody's house? If it is everybody's house, you say, okay, it's blackout. What can we do? If it is only your house, well, then you get into action. Well, something must be wrong. What is going on? What is the problem? I have to figure it out. Why is my house the only one that doesn't have current? So if everybody is going through it, it is okay. But if some people are not going through it, now all of a sudden the mind says, wait, I like that option better, So now the mind finds out. If someone went to satsang and heard, it is possible to live a life with no sorrow. Means there will be troubles and there will be things that you don't like, but it will not make you feel sorrowful the way you feel sorrow right now. Your life's experience will be one of joy all the time. So you hear that there is an option where your life could be full joy. Okay? Then you think, well, I don't want limited joy anymore. I want that. That is what I want. That is how I want to live my life. Right? Then you think, and then you find out more, and you find out that this thing is called moksha. It is called mukti. It's called liberation from all limitations and all sorrows. And you say, well, that sounds really nice, Freedom from all my emotional problems. I want that. Well, when a person has decided they want that, then they find out it is not so easy. You have to do so many preparations. Then after you do all of that preparation and you're trying your best, there will be obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. So people are like, you know what? Forget it. I'm happy with this little bit of joy, little bit of sorrow. Let this moksha keep itself. Let this happiness keep itself. I'm going to keep my joy and my sorrow and I'm going to keep my life. I can't do it. But some thinking person will say, no, I am ready to take up all of the problems. I am ready to go through all of the obstacles. And that person is someone who is a true seeker. And that person is the person who becomes a true meditator. I have found out that it is in meditation where finally all of my sorrow is going to go away, and finally the joy that is being talked about, a permanent, infinite, never-ending joy, will be mine. Well, I am ready to go, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to get it. The person who makes up their mind like that, they are called a true meditator. Swami Vivekananda explains, if you take somebody to any trench outside, so many trenches everywhere, and you take that person and you push them under the water, at that time, and you're holding their head down hard, at that time, what is that person thinking? The only thing that they're thinking about at that time is air. I want to come out because I need air. He says, when your desire for this permanent happiness is as strong as you desire air when you're down in the water and you can't breathe, you are guaranteed to get it. That person will find a way, push, kick, do anything to come up and get air. So a person who is ready to face all of the obstacles that may come, nothing will stop that person from getting this joy. Bhagavan Sri Krishna has explained in the verses gone by that the result of meditation can be described as supreme peace, which will never go away. It can be described as perfect contentment, where you feel like there's nothing else that you want to or need to or wish to get. And it can also be described as infinite happiness, infinite bliss, having gotten which you never have an experience where that bliss leaves you. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? I mean, it sounds awesome to me. I don't know about you, right? But I think it is a really wonderful goal to be reached. He also described, yesterday we were seeing, and a few days before, the vision of someone who has done this meditation and reached this goal. What is the vision of that person? Well, this person still has to live in the world, so they still have to deal with circumstances that come. Then they still have to deal with things in the world. Then they still have to deal with people also. And dealing with people is the hardest thing in this whole universe, isn't it? So now, how do they deal with circumstances? I'll tell you very quickly. Whatever circumstance comes, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, whether it is naturally going to cause joy or sorrow, that person stays balanced. They are totally unaffected by it. Things in this world, they don't think this thing is better and that thing is not as good and this thing is nicer and this thing is less nice. In their mind, they don't see one thing as better and one thing as worse. They see that every single thing has a place, has a value, has an importance. And they give that thing the importance that it needs at the time it needs it. No over-importance to something and under-importance to something. Have you seen children of today? Over-importance to their video games like anything. To their phone. Like that's the only most important thing in this universe. Right? But the person who has reached this goal, they see a piece of stone, a clump of soil, and a bar of gold. All of them equally. Means the clay is important, the stone is important, the gold is important. Like that. Then, people. Well, first of all, they accept people exactly as they are. They never wish, this person should change, this person shouldn't be like this person should be better, this person... None of those thoughts are there in their mind. And they also have in their mind that I am the one who has to change in my dealing with them. Right? For example, if you go to the zoo, you don't wish that the lion will be different so you can go and pet him. you understand the lion as a lion, and then you see him from far and you admire him. Like that, they deal with people in this world. Then, Bhagavan Sri Krishna was describing yesterday, they see that the self in them is the self in everybody. And they see that everybody is in the self also. The self in all and all in the self. That is their vision. Now someone will say, well, I don't like this self word. What does it mean? Bhagavan says, you can say the same thing in the language of bhakti. They see everyone and everything in God, and they see God in everyone and in everything. So their whole life now becomes a worship. They don't have to go and do a specific action to feel like they're worshiping God. Their bhakti reaches an invisible expression now, because everything that they're doing is worship of Bhagavan, and their vision becomes divine. Would you not want to be around such a person? This is the great goal that is being described, that is gotten by a person who does meditation. One more verse, Bhagavan now describes the vision of that great yogi, that great meditator who has sat down and done all the preparation and gotten over all the obstacles. So let us see what he says, and then we will continue. Oh, I will chant Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, and then you will chant Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I said you will chant, I didn't say you will listen, huh? So I will chant and then you will chant. Okay, good. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Sukham vayadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sayogi paramo mataha. I consider that yogi to be best. Who? Sarvatra samam pashyati. The one who sees everything with a vision of oneness. So that meditator who has successfully meditated and reached the goal of meditation, he now sees everyone, everywhere, with a vision of oneness. Means, he says, Atma aupam yena. He uses himself as a measure for that oneness. Meaning, the way he looks at himself, he looks at everybody else in this universe. Every being, not just every person, every being also. He looks at every being the way he looks at his own self. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Sukham va yadi va dukham. Whether it is about joy or it is about sorrow. Means their happiness is my happiness. Their sorrow is my sorrow. This is how he looks. You know, parents have this feeling when that child is writing exams. Have you seen some parents feel like they're the one writing the exam? You have the feeling to empathize with the person that you feel very close to, right? So this person who has reached this state of meditation, they don't feel that only for their family or only for their friends. They feel it for every single being in this universe. That means that they cannot hurt anybody because they feel like I am hurting my own self if I hurt anybody, right? You know, that means that they also don't consider another life greater than their life. It's not, I think everyone is equal and your life is important as long as I get to live. They don't even have that. Their life is as equal as my life. You know, I heard a really nice story about a sadhu who went to take a bath in the Ganga. So he was there taking his bath and he saw a scorpion drowning. You know, that scorpion struggling for its life. So he stopped and he went and he picked up that scorpion and he went out onto the bank and he put that scorpion down. And in the process, that scorpion, now what will a scorpion that is scared do? It will sting. So he got stung. But he didn't throw down the scorpion, he went and he put it on the bank. Then he came in to continue to take his bath because he was doing all his ritualistic prayers and everything, right? Then he saw that silly scorpion had come back in the water again. So he stopped what he was doing and he went and he picked up the scorpion again and he took it out. And this time he realized I shouldn't put it on the bank, and he went and he put it some further place so that the silly scorpion wouldn't come back. Again, that scorpion stung him. Then he went and finally he finished his bath and he was leaving and taking his things. Now somebody who was sitting there on the bank of the Ganga, he went up to him and he said, Mahatma Ji, I have a question for you. So the sadhu turned and he said, ask what question you have. He said, you know, I watched you pick up that scorpion and I watched that scorpion sting you and I saw it hurt and I saw you put it down very gently. Then I saw that you picked it up a second time knowing it was going to sting you. Why did you do that? He said, look, what is the nature of the scorpion? The nature of the scorpion is to sting when it is scared, is it not? That person said yes. He said, well, that scorpion did not give up its nature. So why should I give up my nature? My nature is to be kind and compassionate and help. And why should I give up my nature if even a simple little scorpion won't give up his nature? You see the difference between us and sadhus with this vision of oneness? We will say, man, this scorpion is going to sting me, let him drown, leave him. One less scorpion in the world will be better. Right? But they have such a vision of oneness that they don't even think about their pain. They think about all beings as being equally important. Then also, this implies they understand whatever is dear to me is dear to somebody else. So if I don't like to be cheated, then I don't want to cheat somebody else. So they will not practice any kind of vices that will make anybody feel anything. Then they will also not have feelings like jealousy. Because if they get happiness, I feel like it is my happiness. I don't feel like I need to get it to be happy, so I'm jealous that they got it. So all feelings of jealousy, anger, hatred, greed, gone. Because of this vision of oneness. So they become sensitive to other people's pain and they see everybody as themselves. That means they don't think, well, this is my family, I have to take care of my family. Then they don't think, okay, they expand their vision. Okay, I care for my community, Everyone outside of my community, I don't care for them. No. Then they think, well, I'm Hindu, so I care for all Hindus. That also they don't have. They don't even think I care about all people. Really, they measure every being in the light of themselves. This is such a wonderful vision. It is hard for us to imagine being like that, but it is not hard for us to imagine being around somebody who has that. So you just imagine what your life would be if you're not only around those people a little bit of time, you're around them all the time because you are that person. How nice life would be, without the worries and troubles and thoughts of anger and greed and jealousy and all of those thoughts gone. And you don't have strife with your neighbor, and you don't have trouble with your relatives. And this is such a empowering vision to have, isn't it? Right? So this is what Bhagavan describes. Okay, now he says this yogi is considered as best. That means that, how some people meditate to get superpowers? Have you heard? Like, I watched a video of someone who did meditation for a long time and developed this power where he could be enclosed in a tiny box. He's like some 6 foot or something man, big man. He was able to fit into a small box filled with water, and that box was locked. So he's there now, and for like 5 minutes, he couldn't breathe. Just so. You know how many years it would have taken him to develop that superpower? And at the end of that, what did he get? He could tell everyone, look what I could do. Really? One man went to a guru, and he said, Guru, I want you to teach me how to walk on water. That guru said, well, I teach Vedanta here, I teach Bhagavad Gita, I teach Upanishads, I don't know how to walk on water, I can't teach that to you. So he said, you know what, leave this ashram, I don't want to study here. He went and he found a next guru who could teach him to walk on water. Some years passed by, and then he came back to this original guru, and he said, Guruji, come, I want to show you something. So he took him out to the water, and he walked across the water, and he waved at him from there, and then he walked back. And he said, I can walk on water now, You want me to teach you? That guru looked at him, and he said, my dear child, I have a boat, I don't need to walk on water, I have a boat. I can use that time to do so many other things instead. I get mukti in the time you try to walk on water. So, Bhagavan Shri Krishna doesn't consider the best yogi as someone who has all these supernatural siddhis and all of that, but someone who has this vision, who has this empathy, who has this compassion, who sees everyone as himself, who sees Bhagavan everywhere. That is the best yogi. So now Arjuna hears this, and Arjuna, the dialogue in Bhagavad Gita is going on between Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Arjuna. Now, I don't know if you know Arjuna. Let me tell you a little about this Arjuna, because he's going to talk a lot today. Usually he's quiet and Bhagavan Shri Krishna is talking, but it just so happens that in this mandir, it's Arjuna talking more than Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Arjuna is exactly like us. He is a successful, dynamic achiever in his field. He's a great warrior. He's the greatest warrior of his time. And he is ready to go and talk big. I'm going to fight with these enemies. I'm going to show them. I'm going to put them in their place. I've waited so long. Then they show up in front of him. And at the time where he has to stand up now and fight for and protect Sanatana Dharma, he gets scared. And he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to fight today. I don't want to fight with these people because they're my people. I don't want to go through the sorrow of having to kill my people. Let them be terrible. Let them do all the terrible things that they're doing. I don't want to go through the sorrow of having to deal with that. So now Bhagavan yells at him. And he finally realizes he has no choice. He has to get up and he has to fight. She says, Bhagavan, you have to make me fight now. I surrender to you. You tell me what to do, I don't know. So Bhagavan tells him, get up and fight. Arjuna's like, no. He tries multiple times to try to tell Bhagavan why he cannot fight. And every opportunity he brings, he's trying to say, Bhagavan, I choose the other option. Let me go and meditate instead, na? Let me go and do this other option, na? Let me go and study instead of fighting, na? He tries everything to tell Bhagavan, listen to me. Let me go. I know what is better for me. It is not fighting. Well now, this Arjuna is going to ask Bhagavan. Bhagavan has said, when you sit for meditation, it is not easy. Your mind is going to go all over the world. Your mind is going to reach the moon. It is going to reach Pluto. It is going to reach every single other place in this world. It's going to reach your neighbor's argument. It's going to reach the mandir. It's going to reach the sea. But it is not going to sit and stay here in meditation. Bhagavan said, when the mind goes, you bring it back. And it will go again, and you bring it back. And it will go again, and you bring it back. Slowly you keep bringing back the mind, you keep bringing back the mind. Eventually the mind will learn. Like a child that keeps running, and eventually he learns when mom is around, I cannot do what I want. I have to wait for grandma and grandpa to come. Like that, the mind learns. It cannot do what it wants. Well, hear Arjuna's question, then we'll see how he's like us, right? Let us chant now. This is verse 33 and 34. Arjuna Uvacha. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Nama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvastitim sthiram.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadrudham.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudushkaram.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Arjuna says to Bhagavan, Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha. This yoga which was spoken about by you, this meditation which was described by you, samyena Madhusudana. Oh, Madhusudana or Krishna, this yoga of seeing oneness in everything and seeing the self in all, etasyaham na pashyami sthiram sthitim. I cannot see this steady state being accomplished of this mind. Why? Chanchalatvat. Because the mind is fickle. The mind is so fickle. I do not think it is possible. He says, like he's saying, I don't think it is possible for anybody to ever be able to achieve this. For example, if you want to draw something, you want to draw Bhagavan Sri Krishna. You could draw him on the wall. You could draw him on the floor. You could draw him on a paper. But can you draw him in a flowing river? That thing has to be stable and unmoving before you can draw anything on it, before you can put anything on it, isn't it? Well, or as you get older, you know your hands start to shake. So it becomes hard to, like if you want to put a thread in a needle, you know, the hand is shaking. Can that thread go in the needle? No. So then you have to go and you have to find your grandchild and say, please come and put this in for me. Well, let me tell you, that is also not going to work because children of today don't know how to thread needle also. You know their solution? Take up my phone, Google, where is the closest tailor, and let me go and give it to them to fix for me. Correct or wrong? They don't know how to thread a needle also. Anyways, the point is, if your hand is shaking and the needle is shaking, that thread cannot go in. So now this mind is fickle and it is shaking. How is it going to keep itself on one thing? It is shaking. That thing is not going to work. So Arjuna says, I don't think this plan of yours is going to work. Then he explains more. He's like, in case Bhagavan didn't get it, let me tell you something, Bhagavan. Chanchalam hi mana, Krishna. Oh Krishna. Who made the mind? Bhagavan. Who is teaching about the mind now? Arjuna. He thinks he knows better than Bhagavan. You know? So he's telling Bhagavan, this mind is fickleness. Not that the mind is fickle, but the mind is fickleness itself. Because it cannot stay on one thing. In meditation, it will think about a meeting it had to have. It will think about a quarrel it had with its spouse. It will think about some WhatsApp chat that it received. It will think about so many things. Now someone might say, well, good thing the mind doesn't stay on one thing. At least it doesn't stay on my sorrow whole day. You know, eventually my mind will leave my sorrow. Then he adds a next word, you know. Well, the problem is it is pramati. Pramati means it is turbulent. It is churning. Have you all churned milk before? You know, a long time they used to churn, like how Lord Krishna's mother used to make butter. Churn, churn, churn. You churn that yogurt or you churn that milk until it turns into butter. At the time when it turns into butter, do you know what happens? That thing starts to spray everywhere. Have you seen? Yeah or no? Oh, you have to see then how butter is made, right? That thing is churned, and in the process of churning, you just imagine you take a pot and you put a stick in it and you go like this. That thing is going to come out and spray everywhere, you know? He's saying that the mind is like that. What the mind does is not only does the mind go around, but now it throws out our senses. It throws out our whole personality. So that means, you know, when your mind is disturbed, if you're looking at somebody and their mind is disturbed, you will see their eyes going all over the place. The eyes cannot stay put if the mind is disturbed, or they'll be shaking their body. You know, when someone's shaking, you'll ask, what is the matter? What are you nervous about? When the mind is unsteady, the body becomes unsteady also. Or, the other thing that becomes active is the mouth. They start to talk too much, or if they're not talking too much, they start to eat too much. Have you seen when you're nervous you eat? What is it called? I've forgotten the term. There's a term for that, where you eat when you feel nervous, you know? So this is what happens. It is not just that the mind is fickle and it will go wherever it wants, but the mind is so turbulent that it will force every part of our personality to also go So we have no control over any part of ourselves. Then he says it is balavat. It is so strong. You versus your mind. You're fighting. Your mind tells you, hey, go and get a snack now. And you tell your mind, nah, I'm not eating snacks today. Your mind says, go na, get a snack na. You say, no, I'm not going. 5 minutes later, what are you doing? Well, who won? Round 1, fight. Who wins? Mind. Round 20, fight. Who wins? The mind will always win because it is balavat, it is so strong. And he says it is dridam. It is unyielding. This mind never gets tired of fighting with you also. Has your mind ever told you, Nana, I'm tired, you win today? Man, that mind will never let you win, right? But you know the problem with that? It is like this. Now you are there trying to fight with your mind. And your mind is dridam. That is like you went to the Burmese Bridge. Today's Friday, right? 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that bridge is closed. So now you go there and you didn't know it is closed at 9 to 2. And there's a long line of cars who also didn't know. So they're all waiting. Then you watch and you start to honk. And you're honking for the cars to move and go. Well, you can honk all you like. Nothing is going to change. The cars are not going to move. The bridge is not going to open. It is going to be as it is. So you're just honking to waste your time and waste your horn. Right? That is what the feeling comes when you say the mind is dridham. The mind is so unyielding. You could fight with the mind. It is like blowing a horn on the bridge that is closed. Nothing is going to happen. This is not Bhagavan Shri Krishna's description. Huh? Whose description is this? Arjuna's description. Arjuna is saying, the mind does not listen. Tasya aham nigraham manye. I consider the restraining of this mind impossible. Vayur iva sudushkaram. Difficult, like trying to control the wind. Have you tried to control the wind before? Well, you know, I am going to take my Aarti Thali outside on Diwali. On Deepavali, we light so many lamps, right? So, you know what? Today's Deepavali, I am going to control the wind. No breeze is going to blow, so no diyas are going to go out. You can control? You'll be there all day. We cannot control the wind. You have to change yourself. You can't change the wind. Well, it sounds like this mind is harder to control even than the wind. Because if it is windy, at least you can put a glass around the thing. Or you can come inside and leave the wind. But where will you leave your mind? It would be nice if you could leave your mind in the mandir with all your troubles, you know, and go home and take a next mind. But it doesn't work like that. So now Arjuna is saying, cannot. Bhagavan, this thing that you're saying is not possible. I think you need to re-evaluate your proposition of me meditating because I can't do it. Arjuna sounds like us or not? Imagine Bhagavan. See, you all missed it. What Bhagavan was saying, you have to practice this meditation with enthusiasm, with determination, with patience, with self-effort, with faith that you can do it. He's giving Arjuna this whole motivational speech, and Arjuna is like, nah, I can't do it. Now, we will hear this question and we'll say, Arjuna, thank you for asking, because I feel the same way. My mind cannot be controlled. So we thank Arjuna, because even though Bhagavan has said it again, he gets to say it again. So now let us see how Bhagavan Shri Krishna answers this Arjuna who thinks he cannot do this. Let us chant. You all want to know? Or you're good? Your mind is good? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Oh, sorry, my pitch is wrong. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Asamyatatmana yogaha dushprapa iti me matihi.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. You know, I studied psychology for my degree. And after I studied Bhagavad Gita, I realized that actually all the psychology I studied was nothing. Because the amount of psychology that is there in Bhagavad Gita far exceeds the psychology that was there in my whole degree. One example is right here. If somebody is telling you that they cannot do something and they're convincing you that they know themselves, can you go and tell them, no, you don't know what you're talking about? Well, they will shut off and they will stop listening, isn't it? So, see how Bhagavan addresses Arjuna. He says, Asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam. Undoubtedly, O Arjuna, this mind is very difficult to control and it is very restless. You are right. Now you tell somebody who is so convinced of their point that they are right. Will they listen to you? Now they will listen to you. So now, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, by simple addressing of Arjuna's question, by saying, no, the way you are thinking is right. From his point of view, he is right. This is how he feels. Arjuna, you are right. The mind is extremely difficult to control. And it is a universal problem. You know, same thing like I was saying. If everyone has a blackout, you feel it is okay. But if you're the only one, then there's a problem. Well, if everybody can't control their mind, then you feel like, okay, you know, it's okay that I can't control my mind. I'm not the only one. So there's like a little bit of relief in this whole thing. But Bhagavan doesn't stop there. He says, but abhyasena vairagena cha grihyate. But it can be controlled. And he tells two things by which this mind can be controlled. Before that, let me tell you something interesting. He calls Arjuna Mahabaho. Mahabaho means someone who has great strength. So it's like he's mocking him because he's calling him someone who has great strength and great power, and at the same time Arjuna is acting like a chicken and saying, I have no power to meditate. You say, you Mahabaho, what you say? You can't meditate, huh? Like that. He says abhyasena and vairagena. This mind can be controlled by practice and by detachment. These are the two things. So let us see each one by one. Abhyasa is practice. Practice, to do anything in this world, you need practice. To pick up the harmonium and play, or to pick up the dholak and play, it requires so much practice. That is why I'm not playing, because I didn't practice, right? It requires practice to be able to do something well. Or even like typing. You pick up your phone and you'll see some people, every time they have to type, it takes them like 5 minutes to type one sentence and then they're tired. Why? Because they have to go and look for every letter every time. Have you seen a teenager using a phone? Man, they could put it under the table and text and you wouldn't even know they're having a full conversation. They don't need to watch the phone to type because they were born practicing. From the day they're born, they're practicing how to use that phone. So they don't need to watch it anymore. They're just typing like this. They're talking to you and they're having a conversation with their friends on the side. Right? Practice is what allows this thing to become possible. Anybody who practices can get to that. Whether you want to is a different thing. But if you practice, you can do it too. So Bhagavan is saying you need practice. He already said, when the mind goes, you bring it back. When the mind goes, you bring it back. Keep practicing, eventually it will happen. Like that. Then, to practice, it requires great awareness. Because if you are trying to keep your mind here, in meditation, for 15 minutes when you're meditating, right? And the mind goes and you bring it back, mind goes and you bring it back. But the rest of the day that you're awake, you let your mind go wherever it wants, do or whatever it wants, and you don't control it in any way. That mind will listen to you for the 15 minutes. You could try, but that is like taking one step forward and 25 steps back. What kind of benefit is it going to bring? So you practice means you practice in meditation, and you practice by being aware all day also. When the mind goes, you're sitting and you're reading the newspaper. And you read the first 2 paragraphs and you forget what the first line said. Then you have to go back. The mind has gone. So you practice, hey mind, you went, come back. Come back. Come back. Like the only conversation you should have with your mind is come back. Come back. Come back. Means every time it goes, you tell it to come back. Right? So that is one. The other meaning of abhyasa is the practice of discrimination. Means I go on thinking, but my nature is happiness. My nature is not sorrow. My nature is not misery. How I want to put down my bag and I want to put down the potatoes. I don't want to put down my happiness, but I want to put down the sorrow. Because the sorrow is not part of me. So I will practice thinking that again and again until I find a way to make sure I realize that. Right? Practice discrimination on how I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not these problems, I am not this sorrow, I am happiness. Like that. Then detachment. Well, this word detachment, people don't like it. As soon as you say detachment, they're like, okay, I've had enough, bye, see you later, this is not for me. But that's because they just haven't understood the word detachment. Detachment really is realistic living. That is what the word detachment means. Or the other word for detachment is independence. Everyone wants to be independent, isn't it? Well, the word for detachment is independence. I'll show you how. Right now, our mind is seeking happiness in every single thing that it is doing. Did you come here today for sorrow? No. I mean, if you thought that satsang would bring sorrow, you must have been thinking, well, the person who invited me, if I don't go, they'll say, why didn't you come? That sorrow I want to avoid, so at least for that you'll come. So nobody does anything to get sorrow. They do things for happiness. Our mind always goes where it thinks happiness is going to be. Now, right now, our mind goes to the world thinking happiness is there. Detachment is a process of realizing happiness is not where I think it is. If you come to the mandir and you see in front of the altar a nice bowl of fruits, like the nicest bananas you've seen in a long time, then nice strawberries that someone just brought from America, then some nice guavas that we brought from guava bush, nice fruits over here. Means you see it and you think all these things. Man, this strawberry looks like it came from America. this guava looks like it came from guava bush. This banana looks like someone just picked it and brought it from outside. You want to go and you want to eat that fruit. Now you go closer and you pick up any of those things. You pick up the guava and you smell it. And you realize, well, this thing is a plastic fruit. It's not a real fruit, and someone tricked you and just put that thing there to laugh at you. Are you going to expect to get full by eating that plastic fruit? Well, you will be the silliest person in the world if you think I'm going to get a delicious taste of guava from this plastic guava. Because the plastic guava is not meant to give you nourishment. It's meant to just look nice, isn't it? What else does a plastic fruit do? It's just there for you to see. So, if you expect the guava to taste delicious, whose fault is it, yours or the guava? I didn't hear you, what? It's your own fault. Now, there's a long thinking to show how happiness is not in the world outside. It is not in anything outside. But my mind thinks it is outside. So my mind goes, well, my mind is the silly one over here. Because that is like trying to get the taste of a banana from a plastic banana. The world doesn't have happiness to give us. I'll try and show you in a short example. I told this yesterday also. If you eat sugar, what is the taste of sugar? If you have more sugar if you take 1 cup of tea and you put 1 spoon of sugar, it tastes sweet. If you put 10 spoons of sugar, it tastes 10 times sweeter. Okay? Then, if you drink it and I drink it, it tastes sweet to both of us? Yeah. Then, if I wake you up at 1 in the morning and I make you taste sugar, it will taste sweet to you? Whether it's nice or not is different, but it'll taste sweet? Yeah. Okay. Because the nature of sugar is sweetness. Now test the world. We think that happiness is in the world, right? So take anything. Take sweet rice. Sweet rice. If I eat 1 spoon, it should give me 1 unit of happiness. If happiness is in it and I eat 10 spoons, it should give me how much happiness? 10 units. If I eat 100 cups, how much happiness will that give me? 0. The correct answer is 0. It will make me sick, isn't it? So, more sweet rice doesn't mean more happiness. Because happiness is not the nature of sweet rice. Then, sweet rice at 8:30 p.m. after satsang. That's really nice. Sweet rice at 2 a.m. when you're trying to sleep. It gives you happiness at that time? Get up. Get up, get up. It has real nice sweet rice here. You'll say, keep your sweet rice. I'm sleeping and having sweet dreams. Because happiness is not in the sweet rice. Then let me tell you. If you eat sweet rice, it will make you happy. But if I eat sweet rice, it will not make me happy. Because I'm allergic to milk. So the same thing gives you happiness and it gives me sorrow. So now that is how we say happiness is not in the sweet rice. And this applies to every single thing, every single person, every single situation in this universe. Detachment is realizing that the happiness I was looking for in that thing, it is actually not there. And when you realize happiness is not there, the mind will not go there anymore. Just like it will not expect to get sweetness from the fruit, right? Now, when you understand this, your mind will drop the world like this. I'll show you how. That same sweet rice. Okay, leave sweet rice. Take pera now. You know, pera. Now you have pera. And that pera is sitting on the kitchen counter. And you're saying, man, I'm going to go and I'm going to finish the dishes. I'm going to finish all my work. I'm going to do everything. Then I'm going to sit and I'm going to eat it nicely. So you go and you do all the things you have to do and you've warned everyone in the house, don't you dare touch that pera, it's for me. Right? It's just 1 pera remaining on the plate. Leave it. Otherwise you will see. So they know not to touch it. Well, you know, someone else uninvited comes. Not a person, a little creature, a rat. And he walks all over your pera just before you're going to eat it. You're going to eat that pera now? Why? Because rat pee is poisonous, and who wants to take the risk? Because I value my life more than I value the pera. So now that same pera which I said everyone would have been in trouble if they touched it. You yourself don't eat it anymore. Because you have realized that it is not going to give you what you want. When we realize this world is not going to give us the happiness that we really want, then our mind is not going to go looking for happiness in the world anymore. Actually, the mind is smart. If it gets a little bit of intellectual power, it gets a little bit smart. But it's hard for it to get smart. Anyways, Bhagavan says, by this practice and by detachment, the mind can be controlled. He says cha in the verse, and our Swami Tejomayananda explained, when you say and, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is trying to say, and any other means that you could use to control this mind. Any possible means, you use it. For example, number one, you think. The mind is naturally of the nature of peace or naturally of the nature of agitation? Agitation. The natural state of the mind is peace or agitation. We feel it is agitation, but see this. Do you say, this thing made me agitated? We say that kind of thing? This person troubled me. This situation agitated me. Things frustrate and agitate us, isn't it? When that person or that thing is gone, the agitation gone. Do you ever say, this thing brought peace? Actually, you might say, but actually if you think about it, you will realize it is agitation that will come and go, but peace is like the thing that is always there. If our mind was of the nature of agitation, we could never sleep, because the mind would never get peaceful enough to sleep. The fact that we could go to sleep is proof that our mind is naturally of the nature of peace. It is things that come and take away that peace and bring agitation. So now you have, first thing is, okay, fine. I don't understand, I don't agree maybe, but the rishis are saying the nature of the mind is peace. So it is possible for it to become peaceful. Then you get objective a little bit. I am not an angry person. I just have thoughts of anger. I am not my thoughts. There's me and I can see my thoughts. How can I be something I can see? So I see my thoughts, so I'm not it. So all these thoughts that come, I distance myself so they don't trouble me so much. Okay? Or one of the dangerous things is, don't worry, mind. One day it will get better. One day your mind will be more peaceful. You ask every single old person in this world, their mind is more peaceful or less peaceful? Just by doing nothing, your mind will not get peaceful. It will not become more controlled. You have to actually do things, isn't it? Like if you go and you hurt your hand, can you say, well, my hand will just fix itself. I don't need to go for physiotherapy. That thing will get worse if you don't do the physio that is needed to fix it. Right? So in the same way, wishful thinking is one day the mind will be fine on its own. No, we have to do work for the mind to be fine. Right? So we don't escape and run away. Like this, Bhagavan continues, and he says, Asamyatatmana yogaha dushprapa iti me matihi. Bhagavan gives his opinion. He says, I think yoga, meditation, is difficult for somebody who cannot control their mind, who cannot discipline their mind and their senses. If your mind and your senses are not disciplined, means they don't listen to you, you cannot meditate. And he says, but vashyatmanatu yatata shakyo avaptam upayatah. It is possible for someone whose mind is disciplined and someone who is trying really hard to control their mind, it is possible for them to control it with the proper means. You know, certain things are really hard, like if you are trying to carry a freezer. Is it easy or hard to carry that freezer? It's hard. So then you go and you get a dolly to put the freezer on, and now because it has wheels, you can move the freezer around. Isn't it? So the thing that is hard, you gave it wheels so you could move it around. Even that's what we did with suitcases. Who wants to carry a heavy... Long time suitcases didn't have wheels. You know, they were like those trunks. And you had to carry it and it's heavy and you're going to put it down, you carry it again. So then people were like, man, this is too much work. So they put 2 wheels on it. So now you put the suitcase on an angle and then you wheel it and you can go. It doesn't matter how heavy it is. Then they were like, you know, even that is too much work. Then they went and they put 4 wheels on it. So now you could hold it straight and you could just walk. Then even that they said, no. Let's make it 360 wheels. So if it is backwards also, you can carry it forward. You make it easy by putting the wheels to carry it easily. Well, in the same way, there are means by which we can make it easier to discipline our mind. And the mind has a capacity to stay in one place. You know, when you sit to watch a movie, you've watched movies before, right? Well, if it is a movie that you like, your mind is not going anywhere. Someone comes to talk to you and you're like, shh, I am watching this movie. Right? The mind has the capacity to stay there because it loves that thing. The more we love Sanatana Dharma and the more we love the value that we're going to get from it, the more our mind will be ready to do what it has to do to get that result. Okay. Now, Arjuna hears Bhagavan and his argument has been squashed. So now Arjuna has something else to say. He still thinks he can't do it, huh? So he's going to make some other story now. Hear his story. Arjuna Uvacha. Ayati Shadayopetaha Yogachit. Ayati Shadayopetaha Yogachilitamanasah Sharanam
Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah.
Aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Kachinno bhaya viprashtaha chinnabhram iva nashyati.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pati.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Etanme samshayam krishna chetum arhasya sheshataha.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Tadanya samshayasyasya chetana hyupapadyate.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna everybody came here with, most people came here with full intention to listen in satsang. But is it not true that even though you had the best intentions, your mind still wandered? Still went and thought other things, and then you had to stop and say, oh, I want to listen, come back, right? Maybe, I don't know. Most people, you sit to listen to something, or you sit to do something, simple thing like, okay, sit for 1 hour and listen to satsang, the mind, it finds it too hard. So Arjuna is thinking, well, Bhagavan, you're talking, and I'm finding it really hard to listen, maybe. So he thinks, you're saying it is possible, but what if it is not possible for me to finish doing in this lifetime? So he says, for somebody who has not put in all the effort to reach the goal yet, means they're trying, but they haven't yet reached the goal, but they have Shraddha, means they're doing it with faith that this yoga is possible, that this result is possible, and they want this result also. So they tried, but it wasn't enough. And he says, and at that time his mind slips from this yoga. Means maybe he dies, or he goes into a coma, or something happens that stops him from being able to be in meditation, he gets some kind of disease, or someone in his family gets sick and he doesn't have time. So many different things could happen, So something happens that prevents him from finishing this journey that he has started. Well, he hasn't reached the final goal. So where does he go? What is his destination? Because, and see why he's asking. He says, I hope it is not that he gets lost on both sides, He left out the joy he could get from the world. So he sat there to try to meditate and study and all of that. And he also didn't get the promised result. He didn't get the joy of that. So he lost out on the world and he lost out on this happiness. Well, that sounds like a lose-lose. And Arjuna is worried because he's saying, okay, so someone who hasn't finished this, that person, is it that they don't get any peace? They just get lost, they just perish? And the example he gives is like a cloud that has separated from, a little cloud got separated from a big set of clouds. I don't know, I used to do this when I was younger. I would lie on the grass and watch the blue sky and watch the clouds go by. Have you all done that before? You lie and, I don't know if children do that these days, They're too busy watching this way. Right? You lie and you put your head on the grass and the wind is blowing and the sky is blue and then you watch and you try to see what shapes the clouds are making. Have you all seen? Oh, look, there's a dinosaur. Oh, look, I see a Om. Oh, look, I see a Lord Ganesha. You look at the clouds and you see different, but by the time the person next to you could see it, it is gone. You know what I'm talking about? Because the wind came and it blew that thing away, right? Well, Lord Arjuna is saying, is it that this person just gets destroyed, he vanishes, all his effort is gone, like that cloud that got separated from the big cloud, just vanished into nothingness? None of the effort was fruitful? He says, Etan me samshayam, this is my doubt, O Krishna. And he says, Chetum arhasya sheshataha, you please remove my doubt completely. Because sometimes Lord Krishna speaks in riddles to him, as though. He says, you please clearly, directly just tell me, what is the situation? And he says, other than you, tvadanyaha, samshayasya asya cheta na hi upapadyate. Nobody else could remove this doubt, right? Meaning, I only want to hear it from you, or you're the only one who actually knows what's going to happen in the next life. Nobody knows else what's going to happen in our next life, right? So now see, 3 verses Arjuna took to ask this. What is he asking? If somebody doesn't finish, what happens to them? Do they lose out? That's the question. But he takes 3 verses to ask. It shows extreme anxiety. And what is his anxiety? Arjuna's pessimistic. Bhagavan, you're talking about this being able to be done, enthusiasm and this and that. But I don't think I can finish in this lifetime. Maybe next janma for me. Next lifetime maybe, this lifetime I'll just do my little puja and I'll go and live my life. And this lifetime I can't get mukti. This is Arjuna's feeling. I can't do it. So, and he's ready to argue with Bhagavan also that it is not possible. You know how we come to Bhagavan, we think we know better than Bhagavan? A problem has come to our life and we say, Bhagavan, I can't handle this. Why would Bhagavan have given it to you if you can't handle it? But we think we know better than him, right? So we're ready to argue with Bhagavan also. Well, Arjuna has decided he can't do it in this lifetime. So he started to make plans for his next life. This is what he's doing. It's like, okay, Bhagavan, I finished studying 6 chapters of Gita and I'm going to pause. I didn't finish all 18. Well, when I go to my next life, can I start from chapter 7 or I had to start back in chapter 1? This is Arjuna's question. So now you imagine poor Bhagavan. He's talking with so much enthusiasm, so much love, so much inspiration. And this is the student he has. Well, you have to see how he answers. But he will answer Arjuna tomorrow, somewhere else. Yeah. Basically, he tells Arjuna, don't worry. Your work is not going to go to waste. No good action goes to waste. That is the principle. And none of the sadhana that we do, if we don't finish the journey, it's not going to disappear. You're not going to start back from scratch. It's not like you have to go back and learn the ABCs all over again. Like someone who, yesterday there was a young boy, 15-year-old, playing tabla, playing drum. He started playing when he was 5, just so. Because he learned it in some previous life and he just continued. Same thing. We will just continue like that. So don't worry. You keep putting your effort and don't worry. Like that. Okay. Thank you very much to the organizers for hosting today. Sarwanji, he's not here. And in your name again, sorry? Indiraji, thank you all so much for organizing so wonderfully. I'm so happy to be here. This satsang is filled with so much love and smiles. And tomorrow we will be in Letterkenny, Sri Gopal Mandir. Is that far from here?
Yeah.
Letterkenny, where is that? Oh, okay. Well, if you're able to come, I don't know if you have a ride or can organize, and if you would like to, you're very welcome to be there. It will start at 7 p.m. Otherwise, you could tune in on Facebook. It's not the same, but I mean, what can you do sometimes, right? So that will be happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. Let me tell you a couple of announcements. This 108 night yajna that is going on will be culminating on May 3rd, which is a Saturday. The culmination will be done, celebrated at Gandhi Youth Cricket Ground in Georgetown. I know it is a ways, you have to cross the bridge and all of that. But if you all can try and make it, maybe come as a group, take a bus or something, see if someone can bring you or bring other people. It'll be nice for us to all celebrate the culmination of this amazing thing together, isn't it? 108 mandirs have come together to study the whole of Gita across the whole of Guyana. So it will be nice to have representation of at least a few people from each mandir as we culminate this event. Right? So that's 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, May 3rd. Please mark your calendars. I hope to see you all over there, if not sooner. We will be in Berbice, East Berbice, for the next almost 3 weeks. Swami Prakashanandaji will be doing many of the satsangs also. He's in Trinidad. He'll be back soon. Devji will be doing some satsangs. Wherever you can, please come. See the list of satsangs is on our Facebook page. You just see if anything is close to you, and you please come wherever you want. This knowledge that I shared, it's not anything that I thought of by myself. It is not anything that I invented. It is none of my own ideas. It is something that I was taught in a Guru Parampara. And this knowledge is handed down from Guru to Shishya like that. And those who want to study it systematically, properly, clearly, from the beginning, don't give me a little bit here, a little bit there. I want to know all of it properly. Well, there's an opportunity if you're unmarried, under 30, and you have a degree. In Trinidad, from October, there's a 2-year course being offered. It's a proper systematic study of our Shastras. And you go there and you stay in the ashram, proper Gurukul style. One by one, you'll learn Sanskrit, you'll learn all the introductory texts, you'll learn Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, everything you'll study slowly, slowly. And you get such clear understanding of our Shastras that it changes your life and you helplessly feel like other people should know it also. So if you know anybody who's interested in this, please do let them know. A lot of times people want to do this, but they don't know something like this exists. So if you know, you please let them know. They can think about it. Once they meet the qualifications and they have been accepted, it is a scholarship program. Everything is taken care of for them. Okay. We have Chinmay Mission Guyana is doing many classes. We're studying Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Sanskrit, all different things. And for all ages also. Little kids classes, big people classes, youth, So if you're interested, we have classes at the ashram in Monripo. We also have classes online. So you can check and see what your interest is, if it is something you want to avail of. Okay. Now I will pause and hand it back to Auntie Indra.